Hello, good evening, welcome to Rangers Radio. Join myself, Foxchair, on the show this evening. There's the one and only GB and my big mucker, Southside. How we doing, gentlemen?
Not too bad, Ox. Good to be on the night with Southside and yourself, mate.
Here. How you doing, Biggin?
Hi, mate. Aye, good. Good to be on with the GB, man. And your good self, buddy.
Just sometimes. Not always, just sometimes. The outtakes before the show, GB, I think we should clear them because they're comedy gold.
They do make me chuckle, mate. They do make me chuckle.
If the people could hear before the show, it'd be more entertaining. Would you think, Southside?
I could be a lot of beeps before it. Aye, certainly probably would be, mate. Aye.
Right. Who wants to go first? Or do you want me to kick off?
Aye, you kick off.
Aye, you go ahead. Aye, Capitano go first.
Okay, now you've had time to reflect on that, obviously. It was a game of football, just like the one at Parkhead. It's a game of football we shouldn't have lost. We shouldn't have lost. They didn't have any real chances as such. And the chance in the goal that they came for, obviously they scored, it was a chance, but it was a self-inflicted wound. And then we can't afford to miss chances like we did there. That's 2 games in a row. Hamden, unfortunately, Fashion Sakala. We like Fashion the bloke, but is he clinical enough for us? Obviously, yesterday shows up. But if we get through the units of the team, the defence, at times, we lack pace in our defence. With the setup, we've got James Tavernier. We know that his assets, no defending. Borna, no regrets to defending. And the 2 central defenders lack pace. Conor Golson didn't get into it after a good start, but he grew into it again. The midfield, I thought John Lundstrom started reasonably well. He played okay, but he doesn't create anything. Cantwell, a lot of energy. The boy Raskin done okay, and none of them were outstanding. And then up front, Tillman didn't start the game well, was just coming into it, causing people getting involved a wee bit when he got his injury. So we can't really judge him on yesterday, even though he wasn't great like the team. But the other 2, Kent and Morales, I'm sorry. Michael Beale, you put yourself under pressure. I'm not even going to talk about the substitutes. We'll talk about that as the show goes on, but I don't think any of them really influenced the game much. Hadji didn't have enough time. Fashion had obviously about 60 minutes. We've seen what he done, and then we've got Hadji just come on late on, and the boy Redvan and Matondo weren't on long enough. The only thing I will say, wasn't even Redvan's touch didn't look great, but it is what it is. The biggest complaint for yesterday, like I've said most of the season, we don't score goals at the right time. And I'll tell you now, our rookie manager is under pressure because you're judged at our club in success in big games, and motivation is part of his job. And we played okay, but we've been out-coached at times and out-thought. And I'll go into some of the tactics of the game as we develop the show, but that's a quick summary without being too harsh and too fair. Southside.
On your last point, I don't think he's been out-coached. I think he's had tactics right. I think you can see it's been glaring mistakes that have led to goals. I agree, you're tested on the 2 big games, which were the semi-final and the League Cup.
I'll explain that to you.
Aye, and we can probably go into it, right? As we go on about the game, if you want, I thought we started all right. We were all right. Aye, I thought...
First minute we could have scored big.
Aye, I couldn't see for the smoke, but I knew something had happened. But we got a corner. We were on the front foot for the start, and I thought we'd done all right. I thought we were in the game. I thought this didn't create enough clear-cut chances. I thought Lundstrom done all right, one of his better games, but still probably not good enough to be there going forward, but we can talk about that later. I thought Raskin and Cantwell was the standout in the midfield between him and Raskin. I just think Tav was glaringly caught at the back post you've got to if you make an error at the first part of something and you don't retrieve the ball, then you've got to react to the second thing that might happen. And I thought
about 3 errors before it got there, Southside.
See, I watched it back because obviously I hadn't looked at it until the day. I just thought that when the tackle was made, everybody thought it might be a foul, and everybody froze, and the only one that started to react was Maeda. And when they put the cross in, our right back is left Jota. He's not even fouled him in. He's just not got a clue where he is. But I've looked at it before it happened, and you can see where the other Kyogo's getting marked with Golson and Hingby's got Jota in front of him. But they two look at what's happening, and as the ball comes in, Tav's in no man's land, and Jota's just running in with a free header. And it's a shocking goal to lose. And then obviously second half, we've got chances. Sakala misses a glaring chance. He should put it in the net. That's no Michael Beale's fault that he doesn't score. And he should score. It's probably the easier one, the one he had before. Slightly easier angle. And that might change the game at that point. Because let's be honest, they were coming up the park near the end. We had pressure on them. We were knocking the ball, but we just couldn't get certain chances. The other one was Sakala get his toe into it. It sort of hit off Joe Hart. It bobbled up. It looked like Alfie was going to score, and Carter Vickers came in and booted it up in the air of a scramble.
Being honest.
But I thought tactically, mate, we tactically he's got it right to a point. We just need better players to execute.
I'll explain that to you, yeah, what my thoughts are, and then we'll bring in GB. Right. When we were in tap in the first few minutes, and we were, then they came into the game, which is the usual in all firm games. The other team will have a spell. They came into all the pressure, and ultimately our goal came for a goal kick for Alan McGregor to Connor Golson, across the goal to Ben Davis, and out to Borna Barisic. For Borna, who's not the best at humping it up the park, to Ryan Kent or Morelos in the inside and outside left position. For the life of me, Southside, get the goal to kick it up the park and push your whole team up. Managers' tactics.
Well, you can say that, right? But see, some bits of the first half, we played that way, and we played through the press. You know, sometimes we had to go back, like you said.
All the pressure, but we put ourselves under, came for that. You can come back in.
Okay.
And Southside, I can't really disagree with anything you're really saying. I felt it was a game that we just huffed and puffed through. I mean, I think I agree with Southside. I think tactically we did manage Celtic, but we just didn't have that, like you say, Zox, that maybe tactical change that we could get up the park more, create more. I mean, Cantwell was running about he was putting in so much energy into the game that he was doing the job of another two players. You mean, and he's meant to be the guy that can drive us forward and create. And a lot of time he was having to come back and cover. And as for the goal, I mean, I think overall the defence, I think yesterday had a good game. It was the same as kind of Parkhead. If you took the mistakes at the Parkhead game, you would say that the defence done well. I think yesterday as well, I think the defence were pretty solid. They kept Kyogo really quiet, which I was really wanting them to do, because we all seemed to give him a chance. And as for the goal, it was, as much as everybody usually jumps on Tav and Borna for mistakes and stuff like that, for me personally, it's all got to go to Raskin. Raskin stops, puts his horns up. Can't do that in all firm game. You just make sure you play at the whistle, get rid of the ball.
There's a mistake before that, but
we can. But it's that way that with Raskin being so close to the ball, Oxen just allowing him the ball to run. It's his to deal with, and like Southside stays, the rest of the team are kind of expecting that the ball's just got to get lumped back up the park and they're going to move up. And Maeda is quick to react to it, gets the better of Borna, gets the cross away, and Jota finishes it. I mean, and again, shocking goal, but I can't really blame the defence apart from what says Raskin not reacting to it.
But should the argument be playing devil's advocate here, Gary? You play to the whistle, the whole team plays to the whistle. Until that ball's kicked up the park, you're still defending. When I coached, and I've done a lot of coaching, it was simple for me. when it was 30, within the final third, 30 yards, if you like, you were always going to be wary that you were defending. You were defending first and foremost. When you moved the ball into the middle, third, which is up to the halfway line, and other times you've got to be wary. You're trying to attack and defend, and then the other end of the park, the last 30 yards, you're attacking. It's a simple game. That ball's 12, 14 yards for your goal. You've still got to be switched on. Playing devil's advocate, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying Mascott's in fault. But what about overall performance, GB? What did you think? Do we powder puff, or do we lack? Is it the shape? Is it the quality? Is it the tactics? Is it a combination?
See, to be honest, Ox, overall, like, I mean, at the end of the day, I was disappointed. But as you calm down and you look at the game overall, I'm optimistic in the sense that if Beale gets a proper forward line, it gets guys in that can actually finish a shot and goal. I mean, that chance for Sakala. I mean, if you're, and I'm not praising any of the Celtic players, but see, like, say if that fell to Jota's finishing that, and that's the difference. We need quality up that part.
Listen, I've seen a picture of Rangers Radio tug of war team, and 2 out of the 3 of them would have scored that.
Aye, 100%, Ox, and what I say is it's been reactive. I mean, Tav hits the shot. He's very unlucky. It comes off the post. You know what I mean, it was looked as though it was going in. And what I say is that's when you had the like, say, your McCoys, your Boyds and all that would be tapping that in, eating that up for breakfast. And we've just not got it, Ox. There's nobody there smart enough, clever enough, quality enough that's finishing these chances off, Ox. And that's, again, it's a right back that's doing all the creative stuff. That shouldn't be. I mean, we've got 3 guys on there yesterday. We had Kent, Alfie, Tillman to a certain extent at the start, but then it was Sakala that came on. And what did they create, Ox, overall? I mean, not very much. It was mostly, I would say, Scotty Arfield, who had an absolute brilliant game alongside John Lundstrom. I think the two of them complemented each other yesterday. But the quality was lacking up front, Ox.
Scotty done all right. All right. Southside, then you come, mate.
See, when you're saying that, Gary, I think my wee pal sent me a stat today. I think it was Alfie and Kent, 20-odd games against them in the league, and they've got 5 goals or something.
44 games in total they've played against them, mate.
Has it? Might they got 5 goals?
I think it's 6, but I'll
6. Well, even that's disgusting, you know. Gary, I think we'll see an overhaul come, and then we'll see that in time. I think you can't do it in one season, and a lot of players. I mean, Michael Beale, he got a tune out this team, this squad, for when he came in, that the other manager couldn't, because some of them had down tools and chucked it, basically. That's the way I feel, because I watched it week in, week out, and he managed to get a tune at them to a point, and against them, we've not managed to get it over the line, but you can see a difference in the squad, the style, and you can see there's a plan there. It's down to players on the day to produce. As I said, it's no Beale's fault that Sakala doesn't take the chance. Where I think we should look at is probably we didn't create enough chances even in the first half. We've got to look to be creating more chances.
Is that the shape, mate? Is that the shape?
See, to be honest, Docs, it was playing with 2 players on that part. We were playing with 9 men.
Well, that's
you know, we get 2 guys filling a shirt, and that's down to him because he picked them. Mm-hmm. But it's harder to do that job, because at one point I remember I looked at the park when they had the ball in the middle of the park. They had 2 players on Borna going down the left flank in the first half. Kent was nowhere to be seen to come down, and then next minute Alistair Johnston runs right down. Turns out Borna's got 3 players on the left-hand side. You know, because he's not doing his shift to come back and track. So that happened a couple of times and nothing came of it. But I didn't think McGregor had hundreds of saves to make. We weren't under real great pressure.
No, not at all, mate. We weren't. That's the frustrating bit. If you were coaching against the 4-2-3-1 Southside, yeah, if me and you were sitting and we had the whiteboard that we're telling people where to go and where to run and where to hold the ball and where to go, it's going to be outside right, outside, inside right, outside left, and inside left. They channels down there because it's too big a gap for your 2 midfielders to keep covering.
But sometimes we switch a wee bit. I mean, see, after the ball, sometimes we line up like a 4-4-2 at times. No, I know we'll keep saying it's a 4-2-3-1, but it is mainly, but it does change slightly in games. Sometimes we play a two, we play the three in there. We've seen that. I've seen like the way he lines it up, it's like a 4. Then you'll play sometimes we're sat with a 4-3-3 or a 4-3-1-2 or a 4-3-2-1. You know, in certain times you'll switch it, but just not get the players to execute the way he wants it. When John Lundstrom broke through, it was hard to see. I've not watched the game back, but I remember seeing him bursting through the middle of the park. Kent wasn't moving enough for him to give the ball to. And as I said earlier, before we even played the game, if you're going to play a ball in behind him, you need to have pace. Alfie was never going to run in behind. You know, so when you're Brighton, you're wanting him to go and peel off and run a channel. It's not going to happen. You know, it's just the state of the squad, Ox, and it's frustrating because there's no much in it. There's no a great deal in it if you look at the actual games and the way we've hosted goals. They never battered us like they did under Gio, 3-4-0 and things like that. It's not happening anymore. And that's only with this squad that's pretty poor. So when we improve it, then you've got to think it's going to be positive. It's just he's under pressure now because of the way the results have went. That's just the way it is.
I mean, that's obviously we're that's 3 games in a row we've lost, and it's as simple as that, isn't it? No, sorry, 3 out of 4. Sorry, 3 out of 4. I forgot about someone. But I'll let you get your last couple of words in, and then we'll get these phone lines opened. All right? Is that all right?
Aye. I'll just say one thing. Pep Guardiola couldn't have got a tune out that team and settled with Sakala and all that. The team and Alfie and Kent know what to try and all that. So let's just put into perspective with a team out there that he picked that were limited to put on the park.
Is that how he's under pressure, mate? Because of Alfredo and Kent? Did a wise man no once say to me that they threw somebody under the bus, they'll take to him and they'll get him sacked?
Well, I did say that comment, aye. And
I never said it was you. I said it was
well,
wise.
I know. Just let everybody know the wise man was me then. But I was raging, mate, when he said that. I didn't want to fling them off under the bus and take them off. Remember at half time, and I thought, well, do you know what? I've said it on here repeatedly. He's got loyalty to 2 players, Raskin and Cantwell in that squad. It's the only 2 that he's got because he bought them. He sold them the thing he was going to do. Come here, win trophies, play in Europe, be successful. And it's the only loyalty he's got to, and he put in that squad is 2 players.
Aye. All right. GB?
Aye, just the final words on it, Ox. Basically, like, it was good to see the manager did have a bit of backbone and drop Kent at half time and make the change. And I think, like I says, you can't foresee that it's not the manager to blame for the goal. I mean, that's down to individual errors. I mean, overall, I think the manager done all right yesterday, and I think with the right players up front, I think you will see a better Rangers next season.
The criticism will come at the manager, GB, is for picking Kent and Morelos.
Well, I think where he'll take a bit of the pressure off, Fox, is that come next Sunday, if he drops the 2 of them, or if they're not even in the squad, I think the fans will see that as a positive thing, that he's not going to stand for it anymore.
Will that not put him under more pressure that he got it wrong in the last month and he's paid a heavy price for it? With the criticism not being that you should have done this a month ago, you don't know what you're doing.
Well, he's in finals, isn't he, Ox? He's trying to get to a final, and he's trying to chase the league as well.
Did he get a final?
Well, if you've got like you says, he's only got so much to pick for, and you've got.
When devil's advocate here, did he get a final? Yes or no?
No, I didn't.
Did they chase him in the league? Did they win the big game at Parkhead?
No.
Did they win at Pittodrie with one of the players playing?
No.
So did they get it right?
Overall, he has got it wrong, Ox, but I don't know anybody else in the squad.
That's how the press will come. He's in a no-win situation, mate, because of the injuries and the lack of choices, but he'll get judged on their big calls, mate, you know. But
that's what I'm saying. If he does make this big call next Sunday, Ox, and he say for talk's sake, he brings in, I don't know, Lowry and Lovelace, and he gives them time, I mean, on the pitch, I think the fans will respect him for that, because at least it will show that he's trying to bring on youth, and like I says, he's not going to stand for the likes of Morelos and Kent just turning up for a jolly. I mean, I think I would respect him more for that. Like, if he goes next weekend and puts Morelos and Kent onto that part to win against Aberdeen, I would much rather they didn't.
I think he'll know he can't win. I'll bring Southside in before we open the phone lines. If he does do that, I don't think he will play them. But what I'm saying is, if he does do it, if he does drop them, they'll be saying, "What did you know drop them a month ago, or what did you bring them back? One of them back who hadn't played for a month last week? Why did you know of the balls to do it when you should have done last Sunday?" Yeah, old Davey was saying it yesterday.
Well,
It's the chicken and the egg, mate, and he's going to get whatever way it goes. He's going to get abused for it, Southside.
See, at the end of the day, he picked the team he picked, and everybody said he'd probably play Alfredo, and if Kent was fit, he'd probably play. I think he'd have got more respect if he hadn't played them before it and dropped him a while ago, because anybody that's watching him week in, week out knows that they've checked out a long time ago. I said it to you back at the St Mirren game away about Alfie. No interested, going through the motions. And that was well before all that debacle started at St Johnstone and all that, and the games before that. He'd well checked it. No, but we played him, Gary, because he's the striker. But let's be honest, the two of them were no good. So we was well trying something different. And if it didn't come off, then you could have said, well, at least they tried something different, because they two didn't want they two in the team. If most of the support probably wouldn't have put them in their team. But he had to go with them in his choice, in his eyes. He watches them in training and whatever. But it's backfired. And I don't think they should probably see them at the end of the season. But at the end of the day, we're still Glasgow Rangers. We've got football games to win. We can't just go experimenting with 5 games to go. But we can make 2 or 3 changes here and there going forward. But we've still got to win games, Ox.
I get it, and that's a conundrum we're in, mate. Conundrum. Right, okay. We'll get these phone lines opened.
Aye, definitely.
Aye, let's hear what the Bears have got to say.
Let's hear from you.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
I've actually got a bit of sympathy for Michael Beale in some respects, Southside, because he's damned if he does and damned if he doesn't. You know, damned if he does and damned if he doesn't. Yeah, but ultimately, you're judged on results, mate. And we've had 3 games. 4 games, and we've lost 3 of them.
Right, but see, if you look at it, right, he's ticked probably, in my eyes, he's ticked a few, but he started to tick boxes. He started letting us beat this dross in the SPL, apart from Aberdeen, apart from there, we had a run at it. And we're beating the dross. I know it's expected that you beat these teams week in, week out, but we weren't doing it. So he started to get this squad to do it, and we started doing that. And then we've had the semi-final and a final, right? We've not got it over the line. We've not been battered in these games. We've gave away stupid goals and no turned up in one for 45 minutes and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Mistakes up there, all right, the results against them again. I get that. But surely everybody can see that there are not any great shakes up the road. It's not like you need to go out and spend £50 million or something.
That's the problem if we players that were mobile and a forward line that had pace and scored goals. And when I say scored goals, mate, I mean like between them 60 goals a season. Yeah? What are we, if you take who's our highest goal scorer, was forwards on the
No, we've got a striker who everybody loves or loved 2 years ago, 3 years ago nearly now, when he's at his peak, but his record against him was stinking. And it might have been with some of the team and players and managers he'd played with in the past, till Stevie G came in and elevated his game, Alfredo Morelos. But he's checked out a long time ago. And we've got to make sure that when we buy, as I said, when we buy players going forward, I think if we've got that, what you're saying, power, physique, pace, and they're the right type of players for the system that Michael Beale's going to play, then I'm sure in the long run things will change. This temporarily, it's a sore one to take again because we've been to a semi-final and we didn't get it over the line. But we've got to look at the squad what we've got and what he's working with.
I'll cut across you. Smurf, you need to turn the show off, mate. Carry on, Southside.
You know, although it's hard to take the new, it is this squad. And we've not got the players in the right areas that finished chances when they came. Alfredo missed one up there across the city. We could have put us in the lead after half time. Sakala can't get his one to make the equaliser. I firmly believe if we'd scored at any point in that second half, we could probably went on and win that, because we were the only team in ascendancy for most of that second half. Which not late on in the game they got breaks on us. But up until then, for a good 20 minutes of that half, we were in control of that game. Just the chances weren't clear-cut enough. That was it.
Aye. A lot of positions where we should do better and we didn't. I mean, the two chances, one fell to Sakala, an absolute sitter, and a decent chance fell to James Tavernier. Obviously had the post GB with the Sakala sitter, but he also, with a header, for me, he concentrated heading it down too much and ended up doing, he just slightly got it wrong, GB. Yeah?
It was one of the headers, Ox, that you could tell Tav just wanted it so much to go in the back of the net, and he just put too much power on it. I mean, everybody says you're a header the ball down, but he did header the ball down, but with power, and it was just too much on it. And you could, like I said, you could just tell that the captain was wanting it buried and to bring us back into the game, because I agree with Southside. If Tav's header goes in or either Sakala's header goes in, I think we would have went on to the ascendancy, and I think we could have actually won the game within the 90. It was that dominant in the second half for us. And like I says, we're just needing. I mean, even with Tondo, he was getting done, but again with the pace, and he runs in and he slips and falls and stuff like that. Again, that comes back to quality, Ox. We just see if we could give Matondo and Sakala Cholak's finishing. We could probably have a player there, but.
That's a good point you make, mate. We watched at Pittodrie last week, the first half, all the players slipping and falling. That happened again yesterday. Are we even that? Are we that unprofessional? We're letting them pick their own boots and their own studs, and they're not getting the right ones.
It seems that way. Also, like I says, I mean, the days gone by, you would be getting fined for that. I mean, if you weren't having the right footing and all that carry on. It's just, again, it's the mentality. The boys are. Do you know what? I was watching them yesterday, all warming up and all that, and it's all nice stretching and jogging and stuff like that. See, when Scotty Arfield was warming up, he was watching the game and getting in, like, desperate to get on that park. I mean, a lot of them were just going through the motions, Ox, and this is where it's got to change. We need to get guys in that are hungry to score and change the wave.
Two sides to that coin, Gary. Has Scott Arfield been professional?
Aye, well, he was warming up, Ox, but that's what I'm saying. See if you could give some of the players the energy that Cantwell had and Scotty Arfield had yesterday. I mean, it proved to me, see, to be honest, Ox, see Tillman going off, that's another thing that the manager needs to learn. See, when something's working, you've got to stick with it. Scotty Arfield was working when he first came into the job. He was getting goals for him and stuff like that.
But did he work after the Aberdeen game? We played him at Ross County. He was absolutely non-existent.
I know, but Cantwell's been non-existent, Ox. I mean, for me, he's a nice player, but sometimes, hard work and endeavour's better than talent sometimes, and I think Scotty Arfield proved that yesterday. All
right, we've been joined by Smurf. All right, Smurf?
Hi, no bad. How's yourselves?
All right.
I was just phoning, just my point yesterday when I phoned up was about McBeal. Obviously, we've got another Old Firm game coming up. He's already under pressure as far as I'm concerned. He doesn't get a result against him at Ibrox. He's under real pressure now. He's got the close season to basically turn a squad around. I'm not exactly sure what his style of play is. He might just be trying to get a tune, playing a football style with the players he's got available. And when we really see what his true style of play is to next year. But I do trust him in the sense that he's got an eye for a player. He's brought Cantwell in, he's brought Raskin in. But I do think he's very, very naive. He was a team coach and a very good one. But at that level, they're not just coaching players, they're coaching good people. they cut gamesmanship out, which is part of the game, and it's about ethics and integrity. All that goes out the window at any level of football, at first team level. And I just don't know if although his background would be conducive to being able to pick a player, I don't know if it's good enough to be a first team manager, let alone a manager at a team or a club like Glasgow Rangers.
All right, we'll take the questions to the Bath panel, but Smith, your phone line's no great. We're not hearing you great. Yeah. So the boys have took a note of your question. I'll get them to answer it. If you want to try again, we might get a better line. Yeah. All right.
Okay, mate.
Southside.
I get the fact he's a rookie manager, right? We had one not long ago in Steven Gerrard.
Aye.
Right.
Point.
So did Steven Gerrard do the tactics? No. Who did he bring in to be a tactician? Michael Beale. Right. He brought in his fitness coaches because he wanted the team fit. So apart from Steven standing at the side of the park, I wouldn't think Steven Gerrard had a lot to do with the coaching system, the way we played. I would agree, if you were a player, you might be scared to come in. If you're a goal donor, you're not doing your job, and he wants to have a word with you because he had a presence and an aura about him, and he's a world-class player, and he would demand. So, sometimes I think we overthink this. Steven Gerrard wasn't the tactician guy. I don't think while he was there and got his 55, I think Michael Beale had a lot to do with it. Mm-hmm. Michael Beale now has to probably have the aura or the respect of the players that he's bringing in, and if he's worked with them or knows them, he'll have that. But I don't think Michael Beale, in my eyes, I could be wrong, has like a fear factor. He's no this icon of a football player that we had under Steven Gerrard. So he's a rookie manager, but I think I can see enough in it. I mean, I know the two big games were the semi-final and the final, and we failed. In the league, we've dropped points through stupidity, and we've got a draw at Ibrox when we should have won. I know he's judged on the games against them, but I just think he will get time. And I think this game coming up at Ibrox is crucial to Michael Beale because he can't let it go much longer. But he'll still be there come next season. He's not getting the bullet, mate. No, in my eyes, anyway.
Also agree they'll get a chance to put his stamp in the team and bring more players in. GB, stick to what Smurf fast, mate.
I think that the manager obviously is he's rookie, but like I said, he's been at the club before under Gerrard, and I think, like I said, he has shown enough that he can compete with everybody else in the league. He's shown signs in the Old Firm games that we're not that far away. I think Southside touched on it. We're not getting the hammers, the 4-0s and stuff like that. We are able to keep Celtic pretty quiet. I mean, I think he's needing the summer rocks. Like, no matter what happens in this next Old Firm game, as long as it's another close game, I would hope for a win. But if it's another close game, then, like I says, he needs the summer to build. And then, like I says, I think he's got in mind the players that he needs up front, Ox, to execute what he's looking for.
We're keeping him quiet. He's the manager for 4 games and he's lost 8 goals against them.
Aye, but I mean, if you go in the Parkhead goals, Ox, man, like they're really bad errors for the individuals. It's not as if the full team's switched off and they've ran up the park and put it in the back of the net. I mean, we're allowing Celtic to have 3 shots and goal. I mean, and again, the manager will deal with this. I firmly believe that he'll not stand for that next season.
Confidence in him, GB?
I mean, the confidence is there, Ox, because I know that he can pick a player with the looks at it. Where my confidence might dwell a bit is that if if this pre-season doesn't look great and the team comes back with that kind of lacklustre start, then that's where the confidence will probably go out the window. I mean, I think the difference you can see between Gerrard's time with him and his time now is that Old Firm game yesterday. Gerrard's team, every single player would be running into tackles, winning balls, charging up the field. Whereas yesterday, I've only really seen Scotty Arfield and Lundstrom and Cantwell to a certain extent doing that kind of work. Whereas,
look at again. he picked a young boy that Bobby's been telling us when Bobby comes on that Tillman's not the player for that game. And Southside's been telling us that Alfie and Morelos have checked it. So there's my front three, or my three creative players.
Mm-hmm.
3 of them. And there's none of them going to give us a shift.
No. But again, do you rip that up and put Sakala, Matondo and Harfield up front?
I like Fashion the man. Has he got the quality to play for Glasgow Rangers? That's up for debate, isn't it? We know what he's likely to do. He's likely to score a screamer, then he falls over himself. You know, I mean, he had a shot yesterday, put it out for a shy.
No, Alex, I think Sakala will be. I mean, in an ideal world, Sakala would be the Scott Wright replacement. I mean, in a sense, because Sakala will be all right against the like, say, your St Mirren's, your Ross Counties and all that, Murrells. I think he'll be a good squad player for that kind of game. Whereas, unfortunately, the Old Firms, he has scored against Celtic, but his finishing is shocking, Ox. I mean, the chances that he's getting, I mean, it's practically like tap-ins, Ox. And we need better. We need a guy that's going to bury the kind of chances, Ox, week in, week out. And then hopefully Sakala gets his minutes and he comes on with an absolute screamer out in anywhere and it makes it 4 and 5 and all that. I mean, that's what you want. But for him to be touted as our guy going forward that's going to get his goals, he's he's got to miss more than he's going to get, Ox, I think.
He'll get you goals. He'll get you goals, but it's whether you're going to get what you're going to get for him. You know, because he's always likely to do something brilliant, but he's always likely to do something shocking Southside, isn't he?
Well, you can put that into 2. Dundee United away, runs in the box with a run, flicks it up, bang, smash, goal, and then you see you can't put a chance in against them, running in, just side fit it into that open goal, mate. It's easy as that. He's unpredictable, Gary. Fashion Sakala's not going to beat us, mate. He will not be going forward next year. In my opinion, it's good that we can come on and have opinions, and I respect what you say, but I don't see Fashion Sakala going forward. He's got enough assists and he's got enough goals in him. The fact that he will be marketable and somebody will come in for him and he'll probably go. And I wish him all the best. He does what he does. If he plays any more games to the end of the season and he scores, he keeps his cell phone on the map for teams to come and look at him. But Gary, honestly, Fashion Sakala, we need better than that to even come off a bench going forward. So if an offer comes in, then Fashion will go. And as the rest of them you mentioned there, like Kent and Alfie, they're going. Even Arfield, mate. I know Arfield can do a job, and I know he can, but he's 35. We've got to look for people going forward, players that will come off the bench and influence games. Or if there's a couple of injuries, you need to start them. You start somebody that's on the bench because he's not just making your starting 11. Arfield's going to be miles away for a starting 11 going forward with Glasgow Rangers. So for me, if Rangers cut a deal with him, that'll be up to them. But I don't want a cheerleader at my team sitting in the dressing room or telling them how good it is to play for Rangers, about Rangers are all about. Our manager and our captain and Golson and Borner at the moment could sit and tell them all what it's expected at Glasgow Rangers. No, so I don't need cheerleaders. I want football players. I want a real team, and I want players for next season going forward, because that's when Michael Beale will be. That's when I want to get the questions answered for him. But I believe in him. I believe he'll get it right. I believe this squad just aren't good enough for him. But you can see an improvement in the league against most of the teams, and in the 2 big games where we're hoping he'd have delivered, he's failed. But it's no him it's failed in a way as well. It's the players on the park that didn't take the chances when they arrived to them and gave away stupid goals. So you can only do what you can when you send them across the line. So I'll prepare to give him time.
All right, we'll be joined by Jimmy Street. How are we doing, Jimmy? Oops. Right up your street. How are we doing, Jimmy?
Hi, good evening, Paul. Good show as all. I'm just listening to some of the, even listening to folk talking about football and some, and you know, they're saying, right, and it's, to me, we're getting beat. You know, the games I'm watching, we're getting beat. Sunday, we get Ibrox, get beat at Parkhead. they beat Aberdeen. And to me, it's not acceptable. I agree that this manager has to get a chance, but he's not getting what we're looking for out of him. You know, he's saying it's fine margins. It comes out with the same pattern all the time. It's fine margins. But we're switching off. You know, he's got coaching staff, you know, guys. But to me, they're all there on a crucial. But when the players come out, when someone comes out and says, I hope I can retire at Ibrox. He says, I hope I can retire. No one of the hope. They're sitting on there and they're not having to perform. And they're not. And they're just in a life for Riley. To me, it's not good enough for the Rangers, that. To me, we have to be one. To get a chance and a few mistakes here and there, and they get better and learn from it. But we're not getting better and we're not learning from it. It was the exact same one and the exact same goal as the last time, where the ball went there, but the post come back out and he hit it and missed it. Exact same thing. And Sunday, he missed it. He was a great wee guy, enthusiastic, brilliant personality, alive. But he's not a football player, he's not a fighter. Somebody was talking there about Alfie. When Alfie came, he had all his foibles, he had all his problems with discipline and all that. But we also had Jermaine Defoe there. And Jermaine Defoe got a hold of him. And he came on as a player, Alfie then. And he was a good player. Scored good goals for us. But what I knew the one day, it's to them now that it's about things. Things that are unacceptable, just acceptable. I'm just letting it go. Mediocrity is acceptable. They're all saying that in the second off there against the Celtic, we were a better team. But yeah, I was watching. I thought I felt hard. I thought Celtic would have stepped up a year. Their bench would have changed, and there would have players on it would have made a difference because they had a stronger bench, stronger everything. I don't think Celtic were all at it together, and some I don't think we had pressed with our backs to the wall. I don't see we were peppering the goal with shots. I only think I've seen about 3 shots the whole game. You know, so I don't think we were all around and we had complete control of our innings. You know, but finishing, it's just the whole finish for the Rangers and scoring goals abysmal. And the supporters come on here and they start talking about, oh, we're scoring goals, look at this, look at that. But if you look at the league table and you look at the goal differential, it's terrible. If you look at the Champions League, it's shocking. You know, that's all right.
Jimmy, can I cut across you, mate? I don't know if it's us or you, but we're going to drop you and we're going to bring you back in because your sound's not great, yeah? We're having slight issues tonight, but we'll take some of your points. We'll bring you back in. All right. Cheers, mate. Southside.
Aye, Jimmy's sound wasn't too, but I heard some of his points. I heard them mentioning Jermaine Defoe and probably bring Alfie on and that. And I get things like that he would show the strikers a bit of composure, the type of player he was and all that. But and Alfie scored 1 or 2 goals, you would maybe think in the past that, it looked like Jermaine Defoe-esque, like he did up at Pittodrie one day. He sort of swivelled and just rifled it in the bottom corner. A goal you'd think you've seen Defoe score before, but Alfie still doesn't run round goalkeepers or lob goalkeepers or anything. When Alfie first came to Rangers, he was raw as anything. He would just shoot. And we've made him the player he is. We've made Alfie that better player. But Alfie checked out ages ago with us, and it isn't acceptable, as Jimmy says, that we're getting beat. This isn't the Rangers that I was used to watching. You know that and all. We could come on and say that it's nowhere near the Rangers, the player, the calibre that we had in the past, and Messina or Desire and the ball in the heart that the players had. This is a new breed of players now that are playing football, a new age group, and they're just not going to have that. Some of them just don't have the desire. But I think Michael Beale will get. I think if we give him time and he can get the right type of players in that he's looking for, then they've got to be able to play, like I've said in the past, 3 games a week and know what it's like to go and win a league title. And unfortunately, we'll probably not bring in many players, or if a player that will probably know what it's like to go and win a league title. So we've got to hope that they come in, they can handle the atmosphere and the expectation of playing. I think if Cantwell and Raskin's the way to go, if we look at the two signings, then I think we can see that the calibre of player is going to be a step up slightly for what we've seen in the past. And Sakala and Scott Wright and all these players and Arfields and Lundstrom's even. I mean, Lundstrom, no for me. He's another one that should be told, no, find your agent and tell him you're going to get a club. You'll need to go, mate, and we need to refresh. Maybe get somebody his size of physique and all that, but he needs to be athletic, he needs to get about the park, he needs to know what he's doing, and he needs to be a good player week in, week out and turn up. And we don't have enough of your squad turning up in the big games. And that squad is losing all the time. Jimmy, the Champions League thing, aye. You can see what you see every week in the Champions League. It's fast players, powerful players, quick pace. If you go in there with Ryan Jack and Lundstrom in your midfield and with Leon King in defence and James Sands, what are you going to expect in a Champions League, to be honest? We were well out of depth in there. But the Champions League, to get in it, is important for the club, for us to try with this fair play thing with the football. We've got to generate revenue in there. So we've got to get into the Champions League. But first and foremost, we've got to get back to getting a successful team on the park that's going to win in Scotland.
You back with us, Jimmy?
Aye.
You there, Jimmy?
I agree. I am here. Can you hear us? Aye.
No, you're really quiet. I don't know what your phone is or whatever. Try and move it or put it. Keep talking. We'll know how your sound is. Keep talking. I will know. No, you're quite.
I'm
GB,
talking,
in you go. In you go, GB.
Southside, I mean, I agree, mate. See if we can get the quality in of Cantwell and Raskin. It will improve overnight. It's just getting these players out. I mean, yesterday we seen Ridvan come on, and that's supposedly a £5 million player. And granted, the boy's not had a lot of game time, but I'm sorry, see for $5 million, I'm wanting to see the level of Raskin and Cantwell for $5 million. I mean, I'm just not seeing it. There's times he was running down the wing. Crosses were nice enough, but the boy, we need to be very careful with what we spend. I mean, because if we're going to go for quality, we need to make sure that they are going to be quality. They're going to come in, grab a first team shirt, and like I says, and improve us. We can't have guys that come in and like, I'm no settling in the country, or I mean, out for the length of time they've been out for, and then they're coming off the bench. A £5 million player, I'm expecting to come off the bench and have an impact in a game, and we just didn't get it. Nene, in fact, you could put Matondo in amongst that as well, because he's a £3 million player. I mean, they two are
nearly £10 million there, but they're no match. They can't be match fit. GB, they can't be.
But Ox, I'm not having that as an excuse, because at the end of the day, they're in training, and like I says, if they're not feeling match fit, that comes back to the manager. He should be giving them game time and reserve stuff or whatever.
But there's no reserve football.
Well, B team, can I not put in?
You can't play for that B team if you played so many first team games.
Even at that, the training and stuff, Beale knows how. I mean, we've seen how Beale's teams were in the past, with how fit they were and how fast they can run. They should be fit enough boys to come on and make an impact, especially, like I say, supposedly the price tags that they're coming with. I mean, it's no excuse for me. They're professional football players, and for $3 million and $5 million, I would expect them to come on and make some sort of impact in the game.
I don't think your price tag comes in here if you're no match fit. Southside.
You can train, Gary, as they say. We've heard players say it a million times, train, but until you get match games, it's the one that gets you in their head mentally. It's match fitness, and they all say you need to go and play games. And he wasn't fit for long enough. We've tried to fit him in, and then he's not come on, and he's had a wee spell here and there. I'll tell you what, he put some tackle in that halfway line. For a wee guy that's been out with injury, if you can think back to it, he was well in for a tackle. It was a flying tackle he went in for. And I think the ball just spun up in the air or something. But I'll tell you what, he never struck it at all. He gets stuck right in for a guy who's just come back. It's a wee bit of rustiness, I think, Gary. Whether he'll be there long term or no, I don't know. That'll be down to Michael Beale. But I think I'd like to see him going forward in the next few games. I'd like to see him start. We know what Borna can do. So I don't see, if he's got enough in him, then I'd like to see him start going forward, and then we can judge him. He costs £5 million. It's a lot of money, but we need to try and see him. We can't really judge him So I'd like to see him going forward, in my opinion. Matondo's another one. You might as well stick him out there and give him some game time and let's see what we've got, because we can judge him by he's either rotten or he's been all right. But to be honest, we've only seen flashes of he could do something. The most we've seen for him's been negative. So you might as well go and stick him out there and let's see him play on the left-hand side, because when he was in Belgium, that's where he played, on the left-hand side of the team that he was playing for. So we might as well get him out there, but we can't go gung-ho. We'll still get league points to win. Can't just be dropping points here, there and everywhere. But there's room for at least 2 or 3 players to come into that team on Sunday, that started on Sunday there, easily. At least 3 players.
You back with us, Jimmy? You back with us?
Aye, I think so.
That's better, mate. That's better. Keep talking.
Aye. No, I'm agreeing with what's mostly it's been seen, but it's acceptable. He has to keep winning in the league. The game against Starmob at Ibrox is important, although I don't know if it'll happen. If they get a victory at Tynecastle, then it might, they'll use that as an excuse if anything happens at Ibrox. They'll say, we'd won the league and we just didn't want to bother, But I don't think that push Security or whatever his name is, I don't think he's like that. I think he'll want to gaze again. So it gives him another opportunity to put our wits against him, because I don't know. If we play, I think we can beat them. I don't think they're certainly not will beat us. They're certainly not the greatest party club that they've had. But I should measure that guy anyway. He knows how to get the players, and hopefully Bill can match up with that. But the way it is, he's only going to get the end of the season and the start of next season, and then by the time Christmas comes, we'll need to be at the top of the league within a point of them, plus we'll need to be in the final of the League Cup, or have won the League Cup or something like that, and well into Europe, because he's not going to get years to sort of try and prove himself because of what's happened in the past. People forget that he was there for 3 years. He was there, and they're not saying he was a tactician, he was this and he was that. So that was mean he was there to the Scottish Cup and we get knocked out of the League Cup every year, and we weren't even able to compete for them. So he was there and he was a tactician then as well. It's not as if it's not new to him, the management might be new to him, but the whole setup isn't. As I said before, I think it was a cushy choice for the director at the time. And this guy that they've got in, the new chief executive officer or whatever, I think they're shrewd men and money men, and they'll be looking for investors, and they'll be looking for people that's got a winning team in the park. So that'll put pressure on them as well, because it's only success that's going to attract the money. They can go on all they want about museums and whatever it is, Edmiston houses, but that's not going to pull in the big bucks that they're looking for. To finance the club and finance the players. But as I say, he has got a chance, and he has turned it around a bit in the league. But what others, I don't know. I've got an open mind on him, I hope he does it. But
I think we've got to be fair on him. I mean, you've got to give him time. You've got to give him time, but I think he's under pressure. And some people will say, Jimmy, he's under pressure because he's maybe turned the squad around and our form was all right, and we thought, right, okay, we've got a chance here. But ultimately, we've played this year, we've played 4, this calendar year, 4 all-firm games. With 1 draw, we lost 8 goals. And then we went to Pittodrie and lost.
Aye, but the games that I'm seeing when I'm going to the games, and even when we're getting the results away from home, there's not been any games that it's been swashbuckling stuff, and we've taken them and we've liked to fire them. Probably apart from
Easter Road in Tynecastle.
Easter Road in Tynecastle. the two teams come at us just the same way as Aberdeen come at us at Ibrox. We play wide further on at Ibrox. The time when they come up to, I believe that was all contrived when they come up to see all pals and all that. I believe it was arranged then that Gio was out the door and he was coming in. I don't think for a minute that it was a case of we'll see what kind of manager we'll get. I would think it was all done and dusted, like the only thing it had to be sorted out was how they got on at Queen's Park Rangers. And then we got home to them.
It's whether we like it or no, GB, it's a results-driven industry, isn't it? He's under pressure. We've lost 3 of the last 4, so he's under pressure.
Oh, very much so.
Aye, Ox, I mean, the next Old Firm game, as much as people will say it's a nothing game, he's still got to go out there and I think show a performance and what I say is hope for a win.
It's not a performance, GB. It's not a performance he needs. It's a result. If we'd have been off and win, we wouldn't have been caring.
No, of course. But what I'm meaning by that is he's going to need both. I mean, going into the next game, and he's got to have that conundrum where he's going to have to stick or twist because, again, who's the forward line that's going to come in and get his goals up front, Ox? If we drop the likes of Morelos and Kent, which he should be in my mind, but the quality's not there to replace them. I mean, we're replacing guys that can't shoot with guys that can't shoot, and so the only thing we can hope for is Cholak coming back, and we'll have half a chance.
He's right about the shooting. It's outside, didn't he? I mean, you take the last two games. Sakala's 2 settles, isn't he? 2 settles.
Aye, listen, look, Sakala. We know this. We praise him when he does well, and he gets criticised when he does the madness. We've seen it all season. And if Sakala has one of the half days, then you've got to look at your other striker to come up and score a goal for you then. And he can't. And hasn't he? All right, you get one hit off his legs, he scored, and he got a tap in. They'll all be screaming he scored 2 against St Mirren. Let's be honest, that's what it is. Kolak's unfortunate. Since he took his first injury, he's not actually had a chance to come back and have any run of time, a game, of goals or anything to get into games. I think his last goal was against Partick Thistle or something in the Cup. He's just had a bad luck at not get a chance to come back and get a run of games because he at least knew where the net was. He was doing it.
Listen, Jimmy, we'll let you go. Great to hear from you as always. We've got a few more callers coming in after the tune. Great to hear your words of wisdom, mate. Keep it faith, mate. Cheers, mate. What a top man your Jimmy is. Get yourself in mute, boys. We're going to have a tune.
Sure, I was dreaming of old Ibrox, of her slopes and great grandstands, and I dreamed about the Rangers, the best team in the land. When my memory suggested of a vision bright and clear, of the strange things that would happen if we had the Rangers here. Now if the road to Ibrox Park way up the Shankill, and Brian Loudrup came from Sandy Road, and Alistair Poyce came from East Belfast, and old Belfast became then old Glasgow. If the Rangers met the Celtic up at Windsor, sure no green flags at that game they would appear. Ulster's sons would never roll, and old boys would stay at home if we only had the Rangers over here. I dreamed about her Ulster men who wore a shirt of blue, Bertie Manders and Sam English, Norrie Hamilton, McCandless too. I have dreamed of Whitey McDonald, who came from Lisburn town, and the greatest, Billy Simpson, who never let them down. Now if the road to Icor's Park, way up the Shankill, and Brian Ledger came from Sandy Road, and Ali McCoyce came from East Belfast, and then old Belfast became old Glasgow. In the Rangers met the Celtic up at Windsor, then no green flags at that game, they would appear. Ulster's sons would never roam, all the boys would stay at home. If we only had the Rangers over here, if we only had Glasgow Rangers over here.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
All right, gentlemen.
Aye.
Nice wee toe tapper.
Aye. We've got ourselves in a wee bit of a mess. We've made decisions that have maybe come back and bit us financially, and people talk about Morelos and Kent, if there ever was offers, because a lot of it's media talk. We've also gave out contracts for people. I actually seen the logic yet. Scotty, Alan McGregor, Stephen Davis, and who else did we give? Scotty, Alan McGregor, Stephen Davis for a year, yeah. It's not really worked in hindsight. So we've made decisions that have come back and bite us. But also the injuries south side have meant we've had very little options.
Aye, and we've no probably produced enough youth to sort of supplement at any point. We could say, well, he might be able to come in and that. He's had enough first team games and positions, but injuries is the one that's absolutely decimated us all season. It's not an excuse, it's an absolute fact, and that's what probably gave the squad a pretty bad experience during Champions League at the start of the season, because we were decimated with injuries, and there's not many teams probably throughout Scotland at all, or even Britain, could go and not have your two centre backs missing out your team straight away, and bringing in a goalkeeper who you think might be your number one, because the one who was there we all thought was leaving. But we went in decimated with that and a bit of inexperience, and we got a lesson in there. But also it's a league in Scotland. It's what we go to win every year, and I just think the squad just probably, when you look at it, wasn't good enough and wasn't ready to go again after the hard season they had the year before. And it's just come back, and you can see glaringly obvious now that we're actually going to finish a season like we finished last year, probably without a recognised striker. And that's how bad it's got, mate.
Aye, when you look at Kemar Roof, mate, he's haven't really played in 2 years, and you throw in all of his injuries since 2020. When he came back late and just before COVID, he fell out with Stevie G, and then his injuries, the games that he's missed, the game that Cholak's missed. People say, you should have a striker, but it's not a bottomless pit, mate. That's 3 strikers you're paying. What do you reckon you're paying? $100,000 a week? Would that be fair? Would you be far away?
You'd be close to that, wouldn't you? So it's when you look at it like that, that's money you can free up in it. When you look at it like that, when the chance arises. But we thought Cholak was maybe the guy that was going to come in and score the goals, and they'd certainly started off doing it. I just think since he's been out injured, he's never really come back and had a run, and he said seen the way he come back against Dundee United at Tannadice. He was thrown in and he looked well off it, and it was just a bit tight to get him back fit. But then Alfie come back and he was playing, so he's never get back in to see could he get around the team to score goals, mate.
No.
Ox.
No. Yes, mate.
You know, we've been that unlucky this season with injuries that are even our youth have been getting injuries. I mean, Lowry's had injuries all season as well, and I think Devine and King have had their share of it as well. I mean, you couldn't write it. I mean, there's Southside saying there's been any youth coming through, but we couldn't bring the youth through because they were injured as well. So it's definitely it's a big area in the summer as well that the manager's got to look at. I think, like I said, they've definitely got to look into the medical department or the physio department.
They said yesterday at half time it was a hamstring. You know, young Tillman had a hamstring. Well, that can happen at any time, a hamstring, you know. But that's two. We've had two young boys hamstrings, Tillman and Ridvan. You know, and if you looked at Tillman yesterday, he had the cycle shorts on, his horn was strapped up. He was like Robocop. Yeah.
I know, and like I says, there was nothing. See the challenge that he went in for. It wasn't like a pure lunging challenge. And that's when it popped. You could see him holding it as soon as he done it, and it just couldn't run it off. You know?
Well, you won't need a hammy. Anyway, we've been joined by Davey. How are we doing, David?
Good evening, Gary. Good evening, Southside. Good evening, Ox. Just a wee quick check. 1, 2, 3. I'm like, you get me clear and loud.
Can't hear you, Davey. Is he breaking up for you, Southside?
I can't hear that. Have we got a caller on?
David, come back again. We can't hear you.
I was going to say nice things about you, Southside.
All right, were you, but right, okay, I'll let you carry on then.
Right, well, that is what I'm going to say. It's a pleasure listening to your way you break down you're so sensible, because see everything you've said, you're spot on regarding the game itself. And I'll tell you another thing. See, I know everybody's got pressure, and getting on to Bale's case is not going to help the Rangers guys. And I think this jumping on the bandwagon, all right, it's always sore when that man came up beat you. We all know that. But we've got to remember what kind of crap season we've had and where we're heading. All that's got to get left behind us. But what I'm saying is that if he can't see and sort the problems, and Suicide brought up a great point, and it's been annoying me ever since I've seen it. When you see Tavernier so far away from Jota, it's embarrassing. And that's going on all the time. So that's one of the things.
No switched on defensively, no.
Well, you hit it in the nail, Ox, when you coach people. When I played football in junior and amateur, and you talk to your goalie, your goalkeeper would turn around and say, Davey, mind that guy behind you. You'll mark him. We don't do that. It's simple basics, and we're not doing it.
Basics. That says it all. It does say a lot of it. Southside, then you come, and then Gary.
Aye, David. You can say and pick out a player that didn't react to the first one, but like you say, Tav knew where Jota was. Wilson had Kyogo, and when the ball comes across, Tav's just in no man's land. He's actually facing where the ball's coming. He's got no idea. Jota just runs after the back, and I was like, that's criminal. And I was blaming him more than anybody else, because if you don't react to the first, you react to the second. You've got to know where your two men are in the box, and they were marked at one point. And you can freeze it and look at the goal and see it. They're fine. But Tav, for me, oh man, sleeping at that back post. And it is, we just lose another goal for it, Davey. But like I say, it's a long-term plan here. We didn't bring Michael Beale to suddenly say, here, you need to win as a league. Aye, okay, if you can get us a cup, because we're in a cup final here at the time, But you've got to look at the squad of players we're working with, and the fact that we've had injuries, and Raskin was even struggling in for game time and that, and since he's come back with little game time, we're trying to get Cantwell to settle in, and we want they two to try and make a difference with the rest of them that he's having to work with. And he's had a tune out a lot of them, and we've done all right in the league. I just think we've got to just calm down. You know, there is a big, he needs to go if we don't. And the pressure mounts. The pressure's always big at Glasgow Rangers. And it's no good to sit here and say that we've came off second best again at Hampden. No, am I happy about it? No, I'm no. But I've got to look at the big picture and going forward. And if he gets the right players in the summer and the right recruitments in, then that mob across the city are anything great to beat. So if we can start winning and get our league games going, we can see some good players, exciting players in our formation. If we start to get the upper hand in them, then that'll be it. We'll have the upper hand. There's nothing to worry about. We don't need to spend £50 million, Davey. No, we just need to get recruitment right. So, but it's a sore one to take, mate. But do you know what? We just need to take it.
We're going to have a lot of wages freed up. Let's be honest about it. GB, in you come, mate.
Aye, Davey, you're bang on about not getting too much on the back of Beale. It wasn't Beale that lost the game yesterday. Correct. It was individual errors. Beale, as Southside's touched on, had good tactics in the game in the sense that Celtic created very little. I mean, the shots that they were having was outside the box and stuff like that, stuff where the bar. I mean, McGregor had, I think, I could probably count maybe a handful of saves off him. So that side of things positive. But he's definitely, like I say, he's got to make sure that whatever happens in the summer with the recruitment and stuff, that it's got to be the same level of quality, if no better, than the likes of Cantwell and Raskin, because that's what will win his titles, trophies, finals, etc. I mean, like I say, the chances that we did create yesterday, even if we were playing bad, see if we had a couple of top quality strikers up front, I think at least either the header or the open goal would have got us back in the game.
Yeah. Can I ask you a wee question? Is that all right, Ox?
I don't make it too hard. They're not very bright, the panel tonight. Carry on.
No. This is just my opinion. Do you think we are very guilty of ball watching?
I posted a still. You'll not see it, David. I posted a still to the two lads. Have you seen that picture, Southside, I sent you?
Aye, I see it.
Aye, have you seen it? You've seen it, GB, yeah?
Yeah, I've seen it, yep.
It's different for the pictures you usually send, mate, but is that no ball watching?
100%, Ox. I mean, there's three of them. In fact, there's a fourth just out the camera shot.
There's six Rangers players. One, and one Celtic player on his backside, and there's in the photograph. There's 3 Celtic players, and what's that? 8 Rangers players, and Alan McGregor in goal. Southside, yeah. Do you see it?
Aye, I see it. Aye,
and that's where the goal came from. I thought that's the point Davy's making. Look, Davy, when you're not a good team, you make basic mistakes, and we're a team, but we're a bit void of confidence at the moment, and the players, some of the players just turn up, and some of the players have just been there too long.
Yeah, you're dead right. That's a very good point.
You know, GB then Southside.
Aye, Ox, and this is where it was coming back to it, with the players being there too long. It's now time. The managers had yesterday. He's gave these players the chance to probably prove the fans and him wrong, and they've no. And now's the time. I understand Southside saying no too many changes, but definitely now's the time to no play they two, because clearly they don't want to be at the club anymore, and try and give the signings that we hoped for this season a couple of games to see if they've got something about them, because we need to know that if we're going into next season, the likes of Arabi Matondo or a Ridvan, whether they're going to have longevity at the club. And if they've no, then it's another area that we need to try and free up wages and try and get them moved on.
Hard to sting. Getting rid of players you don't want, but I get it. I mean, the 2 players that in everybody's target Southside, aye, but I don't think you can make 9 changes on Saturday, can you, Sunday?
Oh, I think you can. No, you can't. I mean, I think you can safely say Tillman will not make the squad on Sunday. And if you say Ryan Kent and Alfredo Morelos are no in the squad,
and Raskin might not get, mate.
And Raskin's obviously been struggling, so you're not left with a lot. Midfield-wise, an unspool striker. I mean, it's all right saying, okay, get Zach Lovelace in. He was on the bench at Aberdeen. That part Aberdeen, I would probably have flung him on. But anyway, with 20 minutes to go, because it made no difference in what Alfie was doing. But then we've still got to win a game on Sunday. And as much as this Aberdeen team's already beat us just a couple of weeks ago there, a couple of games ago, and they'll come down here thinking, well, we'll have a go at them and we might get something because their defence isn't great. We like goals. So we've got to be careful of how many players we stick in the squad. Like I said earlier, I think you could fling Ridvan in and give him a game. But up front, then you might say, well, it's can't get any worse than Alfie. I would probably play Sakala through the middle. I'd probably play Matondo on the left. Yeah. And I would use A2, and I'd probably, depending on if Raskin was fit or no, I'd be more inclined to probably fling a Hadji in on the right and see. But then we're still going to win a game, and then you look at the front three for talking sake, well, who's going to score your goal? You know, that's how bad this squad is when you actually look at it. So there'll need to be massive changes. So maybe that's what Michael Beale's emphasising at the board. Maybe you'll have to come up with a bit more money than what you were giving me originally. I think you'll have a sizable budget, as he said, but he might have to increase it.
I think the problem Southside is getting rid of players that, and I'm not going to go to the lads. Scott Wright, the fringe players, mate, that on the offer is nothing. Yeah, yeah. It becomes major money, mate. You know, obviously, Hollander, I believe in, is this summer as well. Hollander, Hollander, Kent, Morelos, their 3 contracts are coming up. Ryan Jack's contract's up, and then you've got Arfield, McGregor, and Davis. You know, there's 7 players that it's going to free up a lot of money, but you're still going to be left with other ones that are offering very little, yeah?
It'll depend. There's probably quite a sizable budget there, Ox. Now, we don't have to keep going to England or the Championship to try and get players that might have played in the Premier League once or hope to get there, or they're just not good enough. When scour the market, you maybe get somebody good in Sweden or Denmark, or you might get somebody for Eastern Europe, where you'll not need to be paying them the mad wages, you know, for what they get paid in A-Leagues. We need to be scouting about to make sure we can get players that will come in and should they do well, we can increase their contract and that, and then if they get to a level where they're sellable and somebody wants them, even better for us. But we probably need to get away from scouring just the English Championship or run about there all the time, and then you can maybe get some players in on a cheaper wage, and they'll maybe, and being successful, we can increase it when it comes to extending the contract to want to do it, and it's more marketable and better for us to get a couple of players in on a lower wage than what we've been paying these players, because they've been on high wages because of how either their age, their transfer fee. You know, the Hollander was on chunky money probably, but you could easily pay somebody, hopefully maybe even half of his wage or 3/4 his wage to start with. We'll get more game time out of and be actually effective for the club.
Aye, big man's not kicked a ball in 2 years, if I've been honest, mate. No. Really? It's 2 years now, isn't it? Really?
Aye, it's sad what's happened to him, mate, you know, because he was a good big player for us, and it's just unfortunate injuries ruled him out.
You throw Ruth into that as well, mate, nearly 2 years. Yeah? You know, it's nearly 2 years, mate. He's hardly played a game, no?
And yet, Ox, the two of them were that mainstay in the 55 season too, isn't it? I mean, they hardly missed a game. It's amazing.
You'd be surprised, mate. They didn't. That's the problem. Even then, I'll give you the stats, mate. I'll dig it out. I've looked at that before. No. You know. But
could maybe get back to the Croatian market again, Ox? Maybe look there, because we've had relative success with the Croatian market. Do you know what I mean?
I don't care. I don't care if we sign somebody for Paddy's market, Davey, as long as he's good enough.
I got a good top of the tie out of there once.
he does a job for us, no?
Of course. The problem we've got as well, guys, is we're really restricted with the squad that we've got. And we all know, I said it before the game, we needed to shuffle the pack there, and we didn't. And we paid the piper for it. So he'll have learned from that, and he'll see where he's going to change things. But at the moment, and we're talking about Morelos and Kane and being in the squad, they're assertive in that squad because the squad's limited. But I'll tell you, if they start the two of them, I'm going to Saturday, but I'll be struggling again if I know the two are starting. I'll tell you, because that's just not the way forward, guys. That ain't the way forward.
I'm no one for telling you how to live your life, Davey, right? Yeah?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have a go at you or tell them how to live your life, but make sure you don't go to the game on Saturday, mate.
Oh, you shouldn't. Oh, you swine. Well, I'm going to phone you tomorrow and you better not block me.
You're blocked.
I swear it was Saturday, guys.
They left them really shooter.
That's what happens when you get 74 guys. I'm sorry about that.
We should have left them GB, shouldn't we? Halanda, 2019-20 season, started 8 games, 2 league games. 2020-21, yeah, 21 games. Still missed 17 league games, mate.
Mm-hmm. Aye, that was when Balogun was filling in there.
Aye. Maybe we missed that fella, and then we realised there's a fella on South Side,
Aye. He was a good player, but he could read the game. He was good in the air, you know. It's seeing you think about stats. You mentioned Halanda scored against them at Ibrox, and that was the last time I think we'd beat them in night. We won, aye. And you look at that, and you wonder when was the last time he played for us. Unbelievable.
Kemar Roof, 2020-2021 season, yeah. 18 games, mate, he started out of 38 GB.
It's amazing, isn't it? I honestly thought it would have been more of that in the season because he just seemed to be one of these guys that was getting goals nearly every second week for us.
He started 18 games, 6 as substitute, and scored 14 goals.
I mean, you would put up with that, Ox. That's the thing, like with the injury side of things. See, as long as there's a contribution there. I mean, we are limited in where we can show up and stuff like that. So, but as long as you're getting quality and you're getting something out of them early season, even if it's like half a season, because we've got 5 substitutions now, Ox, and it's about as much as it's about 11 on the park. See if you've got 5 good subs as well, then that can impact your game.
A 4-year deal, Southside, came out roof. 4-year deal.
Aye, but do you know what? It might have been the fact that you're trying to get him in. You know, everybody will tell you. I mean, see his record. If he's fitting on the park, he scores goals, right? We get that. It might have been you had to give him a 4-year deal to get him, and obviously Gerrard won it.
Aye.
So probably a bit of influence there, saying, look, no, I'll get him. And in the 55 season, he had a good goals return in that. But another one is no on the park every week, but we need them, and we need players to be on the park first and foremost fit. But we're imperative now that they're going to contribute week in, week out. But you need to have a decent bench to try and at least get people on that might go, well, he might make a difference. And unfortunately for us at the moment, we've not had many game changers for the bench shots.
All right, talking about game changers, we're going to get rid of old Davey because he's annoying me. And we're going to bring in a super sub. Alex, how are we doing, Alex?
Good evening, Ox here. Good evening, guys. How are we all doing?
That's a
good. I'll say it's good to hear you, Alex.
At the game, gutted, disappointed, surprised with the overall result. No, really. Everybody knows with badly quality. There are three basic things in football, and you heard it earlier, Ox, there. Even when you're a kid, you're taught to play at the whistle. Defensive errors again cost us. We've seen all the rehearsals. It doesn't matter, and they can't score goals, and that's the recipe we've got. And you're not going to win many games if you've got the kind of things in the team. Unfortunately, that's where we are. We're just hoping now Michael Beale can get a bit more quality into the team and gives a better chance. Because we're out our tether watching that, and it's really hard. Southside will tell you you're there at that game and you're watching the other end up there, and it really eats into you. And you're coming back now and you have to take it again. We had an opportunity there. His selection, he picked the players. Everybody had an idea about it. We've all but spoke about it for a long, long time now, about Morelos and Kent. Proved again, I'm not happy to say it, but it was proved again. These guys should never have been near the Rangers team. And that, I feel strongly about that. We've got Cantwell running about there, trying to do all the work now. We've got to be careful for him and Raskin in case we don't burn these guys out. I thought John Suter might have played. I've got to admit that. I thought Tavernier played very well, albeit the goal is absolutely diabolical. We've played football, you've coached it, and the first thing the day the players shout at you, man on, and he let that Jota get by him to score that goal. It's just unacceptable, and it's hard to take. And until we get proper investment, get these guys off the wage bill and get them out the club, we're going to the same again. That's where we are at the moment.
There's a lot of wages walking out the door, Alex, this summer, isn't there? A lot of wages, no guys' contracts up. It's going to free up decent money, innit? Let's be honest. You know?
Well, we hope the recruitment he's bringing in, we're not bringing guys in that's got history injuries. That's the first thing. I'm reading there, what do you call it, the boy there with Norwich. He's apparently got a history injury. We don't need all this again. We've got to get guys that's coming into this team to be up and running, to get in there and prove us.
Is it Kieran Dixon? I've read that one myself, mate, I believe. I mean, it's
Kieran Dowell.
Is it? What's his? How you pronouncing it?
Is it Kieran Dowell? Maybe I'm wrong. How would you call it? He's supposed to have quite a bad injury, and apparently he's back now. I think played midfield there with Cantwell before it and that. So I just don't know. I just hope the guys get given enough money to bring quality in, because we can't go another year next year watching the same again. It's absolutely, it borders on. Oh, well, everybody says it, every Rangers fan. Coming out of that ground yesterday, you get in there, and I'm going to be quite truthful, they players don't deserve that Rangers support. We can't do any more. They came out into that park, and that Rangers end's bouncing up and down. You give them everything, and you make basic mistakes like that. That goal is absolutely suicidal. You watch it over again. Everybody stops, bar Celtic. They keep doing it at free kicks. They keep doing it at throw-ins. We're standing ball watching, and it's unacceptable for a Rangers player. I don't care how much training they get. That's within yourself. You're a professional football player. You're bound to know your duties. That's it. That's the bottom line with it.
Aye. Southside, then, GB.
Aye, Alex, I think you're pretty spot on, man, with your assessment. As I said earlier, we battered it, but our captain's sleeping at a back post. You know, you've got to react to something that's happening in front of you. And the two of them were marked up, and they just allowed him to run in behind him. And as he was running in behind him, he was actually watching the cross come in. You know, it's criminal. And again, we're losing a goal for the right back position. Whether Michael Beale wants to move him on in the summer, if he thinks that so he can get money for him, or somebody wants him, then we'll wait and see. But I think he'll be there going forward, maybe next year. But I think we need to improve the quality. I actually thought, I heard you mentioning Suter, I actually thought Ben Davies actually played pretty well. I thought he'd know a bad game, but at the end of the day, it's not about individual performances, it's about the end result. And again, like you said, support were boisterous and that, and they've let us down again, Alex. But I think we can see that there's no a lot in the teams in the last couple of games. We've got to take the painful bit that we've not got it over the line, we've not won the games. But I think tactically, I think he's got it pretty right in what he wants to do. And I think going forward, when we get the right type of players in, hopefully that he sees, he'll make a difference to playing against them, and we will see the results come, because they're no anything brilliant, Alex, you know. Might say they were being in second gear or they weren't really coming out of gear. I just look at the way the game goes, and we had a lot in the second half, and unfortunately we just couldn't get the clear-cut chances. We're unlucky to have off the post. He had a good save and all, put round the post for Arfield, and if one of them went in, I think we're on the ascendancy. But we've just got to take the result, Alec, and hope that you'll get it right going forward, and then we'll start to see Rangers back beating them.
Same you think about it with Gerrard, before Gerrard walked in the game with Lee Wallace and Kenny Miller, with Murty was our manager, Alec, and it was a semi-final there. And let's be honest, we were lucky to get a 4-0 defeat. Yeah, lucky. It could have been any number you wanted. I never thought, I feared the worst. I was angry yesterday, disappointed, hurt, all these emotions, but I don't fear the worst going forward. The way I didn't know where we were going till Gerrard walked in the door with what was happening then in 2018 semi-final. We're in a different place. But that needs to transpire to winning leagues and winning trophies.
See, when you get chances, Oxford, you've got to take them. I kept on about Sakala. I've spoke about him before. Everybody, he's got infectious smile. He's great. Everybody loves him.
I like him as a man.
That doesn't make you a football player.
He scores more off the part. I think he does own it, if I'm being honest, mate.
Oh, that's another sitter. The League Cup final was pretty identical. The same. It's absolutely near impossible when he missed that goal. And that's the difference. You get chances like that, you have got to take them. You've got to put them away. And unfortunately for us again, we've come back out empty-handed. And they think they're untouchable, which we know they aren't. But you're not going to change that the way they feel they know. They feel they can just turn up and turn us out any time they want. And until we get the proper quality players in there, we're going to have to bite the bullet with it all. And please, if the Rangers board, back the guy and give him the proper money to get players that the Rangers support deserve to see on the park. That's how I see it.
GB.
Aye, Alex, I agree, mate. They've got to get the quality in. In fact, I'd probably take the quality or quantity. I think that you're touching on the rumours about signings and stuff like that. As long as they've got quality and they're able to make an impact in the team, then I'm happy with that. But it's just, what you don't want is, you don't want a bunch of journeymen coming in and just filling places. You want them to at least, like I says, come in with quality. And like I says, I think if we can get that right up front, then, as you seen, like say yesterday, you touched on, there's not much in it. To be honest, like I says, the defence had a decent enough game. Midfield was driving forward, and like I says, we just didn't have that front three who could drive into the box and create a chance. We had, like I says, our right back again was probably the most guy that was creative yesterday, and that kind of continue. I mean, maybe we need to help Tav in the sense that he doesn't have all the duties in the team, and if we've got guys up the front that can score the goals, then maybe Tav will be a wee bit more consistent at the back.
Southside.
I get that, Gary, about he's going forward, he scores goals and all that. I get that, but he's got to be solid at the back, mate. I know sometimes you can make an excuse if you can't turn down and we get no. But we get turned down possession, and maybe we lose the ball and the ball goes down the channel and we get caught out in the right back. I can get that, But to have close goals like that before, it's basic defending. He shouldn't be losing his man in the box. For whatever reason, they were attracted to what was happening over there, even when he crosses the ball. Jota's already gone in. I mean, I've stopped it. I've looked at it. Tav's not even looking. He's looking at the ball, but the ball's coming. Jota's already away from him. It's basic defending. And you can stay, it shouldn't have got crossed. Maybe Borna should block it. Somebody should get it. It doesn't matter. It's what you do the second time. It's what you do in the reaction when the first thing happens. And he just didn't defend it. And like you say, we've been beat. And it's a sore one to take. And it's sore. And like I said, Alex, I think they're untouchable and all that. But we know in the bigger picture that things can change. We've seen it happen over the years, you know. And once we get the one victory and we start playing well and we're beating teams consistently and we see he's got a better team squad out there playing for next season, then we'll notice the difference. And it's just about then just maintaining it. But the two things he's got today, and the pressure's right on him for next season, is get us into the Champions League, because it's important to the club. It'll be important to his budget if he can get any more players in August that he wants to add. And we've got to get after a flyer in the league. And that's it. I mean, hopefully he'll introduce a few players going forward over the next 5 games, but we can't be changing 8 players. You know, it'll be 2 or 3 in the team, maybe 4 at times, and let's see who comes in and what they can do.
Can you come, Alex?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I'm just, what do you call it? I've thought about Tavernier and that, you know, and his goal scoring record of us is unbelievable. We're waiting on an attacking fullback. He's a top goal scorer. And yes, he's got, what do you call it, defensive. We know the errors is there. I just feel if we would move James Tavernier up one and get a proper right back in there, a guy that defends, would probably help James Tavernier. Because he's asked to do a lot, the guy. There you go, he made the mistake for the goal, and yet he put a cracking shot in, it hits the post, and Sakala's get the goal open. That's the difference, the margins it is. You can go over them all. When the team get read out, when I found out Morelos and Kent, everybody was in that game. After 10 minutes, everybody's baying for Ryan Kent to come off the park. That's how bad it was. And it got worse and worse and worse. He was nowhere to be seen. He was a complete waste of a jersey. And Morelos. Tillman was poor. He was beginning to come into a game. And then he got injured. He went off. I thought Lundstrom done very well, albeit he kind of tired a bit. And Scott Arfield come on. He then injected a bit more into the team. But when you see it, it's really, really poor how it's turned out. For a year ago, we're in the European final, and that's the standards we've got now. It could be no different. It doesn't matter your performances against Celtic, and it's all about who puts the ball in the onion bag. And if we'd have come out with a result yesterday, everybody would have been a lot happier. And we've got to now try and back the team again with the fans all day. But we've got to get something in return now, definitely. You just can't keep going like this. And Michael Beale has put his salt in a bit of pressure now. I says it before about the Old Firm games and that. That's 4. We'll play them again at Ibrox, it's 5. If he doesn't win the 5 games, and there's every possibility, let's be quite truthful here, we could turn them out in 2 weeks' time. Next year's the big one, when we play in the first game and that. And we've got to see it an improvement. But guys will say, this is the Rangers we want to see in the park. These guys have probably done well a way back, but we keep going back. It's the same broken all record all the time. The players that's come in there were relying, and they too have mentioned, for weeks and weeks we've spoke about. In my opinion, they shouldn't have been anywhere near Rangers. And there you go. Went again. They've let us down that many times. We're back on again, a semi-final, to get up for it. And there, this is what happens. They played not too bad in the first half. They had to change their game. Let's be quite truthful. They had to get into a more defensive role, Celtic. They had a guy playing centre-back. He was injured. That Vickers, by the way, he's slower than me. He could have played with his slippers on. That's how easy he went through the game. And it's unacceptable to get there. that Rangers haven't got a striker anywhere within the club that can put the ball in the net, that we're aligning all that lot in the front. There's none of them. Matondo, you've got Wright, Sakala, and I've said the two before. There's 5 right away. No even, they're nowhere near Rangers class, and that's the bottom line. 2-3 years ago, Morelos was the guy. We can't keep going back and going back. Ryan Kent definitely has went back the way big time. And we've been saying it all season. Bill thought you could get a tune at him. He goes done with it. But it was disappointing. But now, a day later, he just seemed to sup it up and we'll just need to go in again and try and win these remaining games. And hopefully next year we get better players in.
What emotion there, GB?
No, well said, Alex. I think that's is that after yesterday, the manager, if he didn't know before, he definitely knows now who's with him for the foreseeable. And what I say is next Sunday he's going to show how ruthless he can be. I think he'll not help himself, Alex. You're talking about pressure. He'll add to the pressure, I think, on Sunday if he starts Kent and Alfie next Sunday. He's got to show the fans something. He's got to show that he's not going to put up with people that are just out there to jog about and not put any effort in. I mean, that game yesterday, Alfie that we know would have been writing about Carter Vickers, roughing him up. Same with Kent. Kent was getting pushed off the ball left, right and centre. I mean, it was, again, that's guys going through the motions, not wanting to get injured. So next Sunday, the manager, if he wants to ease some of the pressure, he's got to show that he can make changes.
The funny thing is, TB, I think he makes that call the pressure mounts on him because he'll get criticised. I think he will, and I think he should. But that'll give him even more criticism for the decision he made last weekend, Southside.
Aye, he played the teacher's pet, didn't he, Ryan Kent? You know, and it backfired. Like we said, Alfredo. You can. Alex, see, the other thing is Connor Golson sits there week in, week out, right? And he's not got anybody. I wanted, when he was out, I was hoping John Suter would have been fit and played at least maybe 10, 15 games in a bounce so we could actually judge him in his position. No, he's too comfortable, so's our captain. Nathan Patterson was the one that was pushing him, but we get good money for him. And the board took the view of selling him. Maybe the boy also had wanted to go and try his luck in the Premiership. That's where everybody wants to play, and maybe that's what he thought, because you've got to dislodge the captain. And his numbers are good going forward. He's had big moments in big games and all that, but he's cost his goals at the back. But they two have been comfortable for so long, Alex, as well. You know, and that's what Michael Beale will need to decide on. I've said it on here, they'll not see their contracts out, and I think probably they'll get one more season because of their contract situation going forward, and then I think you'll be judged at that next season after. But we're just going to do the overhaul, and I think the board will give them money. And I think when you look at the state of the squad and the bench, Alex, and what we can get money in for Sakala, and I think if a bid comes in, we just sell them. Scott Wright not sitting there doing nothing. But the other problem we've got is we've got to have 8 Scottish home-based players for the start of the Champions League squad. So I don't know what he's going to do. You'll have to get them as well, Alex.
This is a dilemma, isn't it?
Well, cut across these. We've been joined by our good mate Travel Rock. Evening, Travel.
Good evening. How you doing?
All right, mate. Later on in the week.
I know. I couldn't resist her.
Right, get it off your chest.
Oh no. James Tavernier. Again. I just with the fellow was saying there about Suter. I was actually hoping that he would go 5 at the back because I can't trust that defence. Honestly, they couldn't keep Rangers close. Honestly, they're mental. Whether it's Tavernier, Goldson, or even Borna, often getting caught. How often are we getting caught with the same stupid goal with somebody being free in the box?
how difficult is it when you're losing the same goal again? Now, we all know McGregor's rooted to that line. He's not going to come out and help them out at all. So surely the manager should have been thinking about taking another. We probably should have went 5 at the back just to try and cover up people's mistakes. That's the situation we're in with that defence, and I hear what the boys are saying. I'm done with. I'm kind of done with Goldson as well. And see, I know we're talking about Carter Vickers there being injured. They wouldn't have lost that goal. Carter Vickers put his cell everywhere that ball was. He was putting his cell where the ball was. I don't know what it is with our defenders. They seem to run away from the ball and leave men spare. Am I the only person that's getting fed up with Tavernier? I keep hearing this. Oh, he turns up in big games. When's the last big game he won? Scottish Cup final. 55's a distant memory now. Tavernier's, you know my feelings on Tav, particularly as captain. How many captains of the past would accept the way that we just bend out of that mob? You see that one that's on Twitter the day with the boy Cantwell, no giving the Celtic player a drink of water.
I heard about it.
I
heard about it.
Whatever, one of them came across and went to, I think it was when the young American boy was doing. One of them came out to take a drink out of the physio's water bottle rack thing. Cantwell took it off and flung the rack away so he couldn't get a drink. And then he just walked out, and Tavernier basically went and lifted the bottle up, took the cork off and held it while he took a drink. That again, I think we've often said it, we need to hate them as much as they hate us. And that's not there with that captain. And it's never been there, and that's why we're so weak. We're weak-minded.
See, yesterday, when you talked about playing 5 at the back, see when that goal went in, mate, there was 8 Rangers players in the near enough in the box, mate, within 2 feet or 2 yards for the box. 5 in the box, plus McGregor 6 and 3 at the edge of the box. Raskin, Kent, and I don't know who else it is. I can't see who else it is, but
Holmstrom in it.
Arfield.
Having watched Suter the last few weeks, I think Suter's the best defender we've got at the club.
He'd go and head it, aye.
Aye.
And you come Southside.
The 2 centre backs we've got aren't dominant. Travel, no, they're no. We've got even Golson who turns his back when shots come at him and all that. You know, he's not that type of centre back. I look for centre backs we've had, Richard Goff types, even John Brown, no, full of heart. Big Katic had it. Couldn't he pass the ball? But he could win a ball in the air. He would go in and put his head in, and he could cause problems in the opposition box, but he would win headers. But he wasn't the greatest passer of the ball, but he was dominant, and probably in the type of games that we play in the league, that's what we need, which we don't have. But aye, it's pitiful, mate. Tav's the same. A captain of Glasgow Rangers at the time he's been there, and he's picked up a league medal and a Scottish Cup. You know, it's no herdy for the amount of time he's been there and a captain. I want captains like Richard Goff, Terry Butcher, even Barry Ferguson, should I say it. Somebody that epitomises he doesn't want defeat, standards maintained, and it's not acceptable to be losing. And even like yesterday and that to them in the performance. But it comes down to the squad that he's had and he's been left with. Travelog, and he's had to do his best, but he's turned it round in the league up to a point, and then we got to Aberdeen and we lose. But apart from that, I think going forward we've got to give him time, and if he can get the right type of players in that we hope he'll get, I'm hoping we'll see a big difference in our style of play, and I think hopefully we'll be able to score goals and create, and that's what I'm hoping that the players he brings in will produce, mate.
Travel, we need bodies all over the park, mate. All over the park. You there? I lost them. GB.
Aye, Ox, I mean, we do need players all over the park, but See, like the Tav question, right? He has got his frailties at the back, but he's the one guy. I mean, yesterday he never stopped running up and down that wing and trying to create and trying to get his back in the game. And it was the same with the game at Parkhead. He was the only guy that day that was able to get his back in the game with 2 goals. I mean, it's with the whole goal that we conceded yesterday. I mean, I've not heard anybody hammer Raskin, and it was Raskin's fault. Raskin just stopped, and allowed the ball to roll. Raskin could have dealt with that, just took it and played on. And to be honest, I think in real time he shocked the players around about him because they knew what to do. And as much as they've got to be switched on, it was Raskin that's caused the shocking moment. If you know what I mean, he should have. He was right next to the ball.
You're spot on, but he's back even further. It was Kent switching off. It started it. We put myself under pressure, and then Raskin makes a mistake. Borna maybe no comfort. They all could have went for it. Any one of them could have cleared it. But the point the boys are making, once the cross comes in, then you become responsible when it comes to your area. And I get your point, and I accept your point. You're back with us, Travel Rug?
The old Ayrshire internet's a bit like James Tavernier's defending, so a bit unstable. So, but
what area of the park? What's your first signing, Travel Rug?
Goalkeeper.
It's got to be in it. Then after that, what area?
Goalkeeper.
What area? 2 goalkeepers.
Well, I mean, should we begin Alan McGregor again between now and the end of the season? Should we be trying at least giving the boy McCrory a run for now to the end of the season? Because if he's not going to be a potential number 1, he's got to be the backup, isn't he? So, we know we're not going to learn anything else about McGregor. So I think that should be a start for the boy. Should be getting a run for now to the end of the season. McGregor will get his day in the sunshine when he's got his testimonial, but that's enough's enough there. And then it's got to be the forward line. I mean, I'm kind of optimistic about Cantwell and Raskin, and Lindstrom's a funny one because he can't go. I struggle to see how he can go from being so good last year, tail end of last year, to what we're seeing after this season. But I'm willing. I'm happy to go with Lindstrom again. If he stays, I'll not be too disappointed. But the rest of the midfield, Kamara, he can go. Kent, he's gone already. And even Ryan Jack. Ryan Jack's a smashing player, and I love Ryan Jack, but he's another Kamara Roof. In for 1, out for 4 type thing.
He's due to come back. He's due to come back. It's one of your callers says there's a Scotland game coming up, Travel.
Well, I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in watching the Rangers, and I'm not seeing enough of him. And you can't. And we need consistency. You look for all. I know people are saying they're not a good team, but they're good enough to beat us, and they've got that one player that just does it all the time for them is the boy McGregor. He's always there. We don't have that in the midfield, so we need somebody that's we're going to get a full season at, and that's not going to be Ryan Jack. Can you get a full month out of Ryan Jack?
No. Anyway, well, listen, mate, you come on as the week develops, because great to hear from you, buddy.
Aye. Oh, I've got plenty to moan about now, so.
Aye. It'll be good to hear from you.
Well, maybe later in the week we can have a chat about my jars, eh?
Aye.
It's a waste of time on it as well.
Aye. I think it's too popular, mate.
Aye, but it's good to. I'm still listening, and I just haven't been calling on. I've been listening to that at the weekend, and for me that was I don't know many final nails have I put in Kip Tavernier's coffin, but that is going to be the last one for me. I'm done.
I still think he'll be at the club next year, mate. I don't think that'll be.
So they are.
So
they are, but I just and if he's still there, we'll still be finishing second.
Right, mate. Here for you later on the week. Last word for your good self, Alex.
Fantastic show again, Ox here. Well done, GB. south side of the colours. Just before, I was quite surprised the last 5 minutes he never pushed Connor Golston up front to try and sneak a wee goal. But there you go, it's all by the now. Fantastic show, and keep up the good work. Thank you very much, Oxford. Thank you.
GB.
Hi, Oxford. Thanks for having us on and allowing me to get everything off my chest about yesterday. And what I say is, onwards and upwards and on to next week.
Because I know you're a chess man.
What's that?
And you feel better because I know you're a chess man.
Aye, oh mate, 100% better, especially when it's off my chest. And aye, mate. No, like I say, we showed something yesterday, Ox. There's signs of improvement, and like I say, I think the manager just needs the quality that he's asking for.
Southside.
I didn't know Gary was on the chest expander, so well, where you go, you learn something all the time. Disappointed, obviously, at the weekend, mate. You've got to take your medicine, right, but you've got to look at the bigger picture. And I think for going forward, I think success will be coming. It's just a case of getting it right in the summer, and I'm sure he will. Some changes to look forward to at the game on Sunday, mate. So hopefully we'll see that in 3 points. So thanks for having us on. It was good to be on the night with GB. And thanks for having us on, mate.
Yeah, thanks to Jimmy, Smurf, who came in earlier on. The one and only old Davy. Great to hear from Archie Wishaw. And my good mucker, the one and only Travel Rob. Good to hear from him. Thanks to GB and all Southside for doing the show. All School Blue and Fox for doing the technicals. This has been Rangers Radio. We'll be back tomorrow night between 8 and 10 talking about all things Rangers. Never forgive and never forget. Take it away, All School Blue.